Hey curl friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Jazz and I'm back with another tutorial for you. Today I'm going to be doing one of my go-to styles, the perm rod set. And as always, I'm starting off with freshly washed and deep conditioned hair. I want to make sure I keep my new color nice and moisturized, so I want to make sure I do my deep treatments more often. I'm going to be using the coconut milk line by Creme of Nature, their curl repair leave-in. I wanted to use a light styler, so I figured I'd use a heavier leave-in as my base so I can get some good definition. When I'm doing a perm rod set like this, I always look for light, fluffy results. So when I'm using a heavy leave-in, I don't want to use a heavy styler. So today I'm going to be using the Quench foaming mousse, which is also on the same line by Creme of Nature. I figured these would be a good combination so that I can still have that light, fluffy look but have maximum definition. This also helps with drying time when you don't use too heavy products, because that'll also make your hair take longer to dry. So getting into the perm rod wrapping process, I do the same technique every time, simply just wrapping the hair around the perm rod. When you first start out, your hair is still wet, so it's not going to be as difficult to make sure your hair sticks to the perm rod, so that's not going to be an issue here, but you'll see later on where I have to add additional product just to make sure my hair sticks. So a lot of people have problems with making sure the perm rod stays in place. So I'm going to show you here where some people may go wrong with setting the perm rod so that it's not loose and hanging and it does stay in place. So once you wrap your hair around, once you see the direction that you're going, you want to close the perm rod in the opposite direction. So the piece of hair that's closest to the root, that's where you want to close your perm rod on that side. So I'm going to show you, if you go around the opposite way, how the perm rod just hangs there and it's loose. So that's where a lot of people go wrong with the closing of the perm rod to make sure it stays in place, because that's going to make you get the great definition that you're looking for. So going into a closer look of my wrapping process, pretty simple here. But once you get towards the end of your hair's been drying this entire time, so just add a little bit of more product towards the end, wrapping your hair on top of itself, and you should have no problem keeping the perm rod in place. In total, I use 42 perm rods. You don't have to use that many. I have done this style using less perm rods with larger sections, depending on how much hair you have and how much drying time you know you need. Obviously, smaller sections would get you less drying time versus larger sections would require a little bit more time to dry. So it's totally up to you. Loving the definition I got with these two combination, using a thick leave-in and a mousse. Sometimes I think I've done this with just using mousse alone. It's totally up to you, but I've gotten great results each way. I loved how light and fluffy my perm rod set came out, not too heavy or weighed down, which is what I was looking for. So this is the part where you can make this style completely your own. I like to separate each piece once or twice. I'd like to pull on them to give it a little bit more stretch, and then kind of separate them where they separate on their own naturally. So if you wanted to have more definition, obviously you could just separate them once or twice. I like to leave it a little bit more defined than I would on, let's say, day 4 hair, but I kind of want my style to do its own thing over time. So you can have it in the front with a bang like you saw there, or I can flip it over. It's totally versatile. Once you get to this point is where you would make the style your own. A lot of people like huge, big hair on day 1. I don't like to separate my hair to the fullest, because I feel as though my style lasts me a lot longer when I let day 1 hair kind of come into its own and do its own thing. So here I fluffed out the roots slightly, but I didn't want to lose too much definition, so I didn't get too crazy with the fluffing of the roots. Overall, I am very pleased with the outcome of this style, especially with my new hair color. I was very anxious to see my color styled in a perm rod set, so the results I am very pleased with. So comment down below and let me know, do you like day 1 hair to be a lot bigger than this, or do you prefer to let your hair grow over time? Comment down below and let me know. Also, any questions I may have left out. Next up, I have for you a flat twist out that I'm thinking about doing, so stay tuned for that. Till next time, bye-bye.